This in my hand is a lighter. It's a green lighter. It matches with my top. It looks very pretty under this light. And this is my left hand. So if I put this lighter here right now, and if I light it up, what's going to happen? Raise your hands up if you think it's going to hurt me. Now keep your hands up, and only lower them if you actually have done this yourself. So I see there are some true scientists among us. Most of you probably have been told that don't play with fire, it's going to hurt you, by a peer, an elder, most likely your parents. And a lot of us have this knowledge, as you have seen among us. This is a part of our collective memory. Collective memory is a memory that a group of people have. People in this room, people in your family, people from your country, or the entire humanity. And for a lot of our existence, 80% of it, we only had speech to preserve it. Important information that we wanted to relay to other people and wanted it to be known, we only use speech for it. Stuff like, oh, don't go over that mountain. There are bears there. Or don't go in a cave, because nobody returned when they went there. For years, speech was enough to relay this information, because we didn't have much to say. And it was very helpful, as it was passed down from generation to generation, and we could advance some of the knowledge we acquired through our lifetimes. But speech wasn't enough. Like I said, a lot of our existence, we only had speech. We didn't even have shoes to wear. But then, around 3,000 years ago, we invented writing. Now, any information, any knowledge, any experience we had, we could preserve for centuries, even millennia. Now, we didn't have to trust that our information would be relayed through speech as we want, because we were the masters of preserving it. Whatever methods we employed, we could now relay information as we liked to the people that we liked. And throughout the privilege of writing, now, in 2026, primary school children are being taught in math classes what Pythagoras wrote 2,400 years ago. So writing is great, right? Due to writing, we could evolve our capabilities, we could do research, we could try stuff over generations, not just have an experiment in our lifetime, but then throughout generations evolve in many scientific fields. And it helped us greatly in preserving our capabilities. Not just capabilities, though. Also, our collective memory helped us discover something called tribal shaming. Now, we could gossip about people. We could talk behind their back. And now, for example, you could be the relative of a murderer or the son of a thief. Of course, like I said, collective memory both helped us advance a lot. But also, it enabled us to have a collective memory about bad stuff about people. And with writing, this was very easy. Now, in this year again, in 2026, we know that 2,700 years ago, some copper merchant in today's Turkey, he was selling low-quality copper, the first complaint ever recorded in history that we could find. We still shame this guy to this day. And in Turkish, we have a word, el alem. It comes from Arabic origin, and in that language it means the world. But in Turkish, for us, transliterated, it means the other people. Who are these other people? Very dependent on the context. For example, the other people could be the people outside this room, or, like I said, the people not from your family, or not from your country, or not from your company. And no matter who these other people are, there is one assumption about them. They will be talking about us no matter what. Whatever we do in our lives, we Turkish people think that we are being watched by this entity and being judged all the time. This is being taught to children in young ages. Whenever they ask their parents silly questions, they are being taught, oh, what would other people think of this? And this is ingrained into a lot of our minds. I believe, it sounds not very good, right? I believe it has some purpose. I believe that it promotes prosocial behavior and acts as a regulator for behavior. Not just for behavior, for example, day-to-day behavior, but also morality. And I think in many collectivistic cultures today, the collectivistic view about the social standing, what would other people think about me, acts as a behavior regulator and helps people in their morality, maybe in a disturbing way. It is what it is. But yeah, collective memory, it was great. We used it to advance our science, our capabilities. We also used it to regulate our morality. Again, 2,400 years ago, great minds of Greece convened in an academy in Athens and started discussing morality, ethics, philosophy. And we still can read their work through writing, through the collective memory of humanity today. Speech, writing, until very recently, that's mostly only we had. And that's how we preserve our collective memory. Now, popularizing recently, there is another form of humanity's collective memory that is ingrained into everybody's lives in this room, more and more every day. Of course, I'm talking about artificial intelligence. The AI models that are used by most of you today are models that predict language based on the entire internet's data, plus whatever those big companies they can get their hands on. So they are almost a manifestation of our collective memory. And the problem is, they were static for a long time. Since the first GPT-2 model, which can be considered the great-grandpa of the ChatGPT today, was released in 2019, a lot of the existence of AI was static. It couldn't learn. Now, since the last 2 years, the field has been convening on the field of memory of AI. Because if AI has memory, it can learn. If it can learn, it can remember. If it can remember, it can learn continuously, which is something a lot of researchers want, and a lot of them are very scared about. But we have to take a step back. First, I want to talk you to about a paper. This paper, released in April 2023, which in the terms of current AI research, can be thought of as it's from the Stone Age. In this paper, they gave language models, like ChatGPT, initial personas, desires, and they placed them in a simulated village, as you see here, and let them live a few days of simulated lives. They weren't given any explicit instructions to do anything, just initial desires. And one of the agents in there, called Isabel, was given the intent to organize a Valentine's Day party from 5 to 6 p.m. In 2 days, Isabel's party was the talk of the town. These artificial intelligence models, in this simulated reality, in a few days of simulated reality, they formed a collective memory about Isabel's Valentine's Day party. And in the end, 5 people joined the party. So Isabel was very happy. Another paper is Voyager, and in that paper, they had the brilliant idea of giving AIs a notebook, because they are language models, they predict language, so why shouldn't they have a notebook that they can keep their memories on? It worked brilliantly. Since then, in the last 3 years, hundreds of papers on AI memory have been released, and there are many different opinions on how it should be. Even I have a different opinion. I even wrote a paper about AI memory, very popular topic. But the one that has been catching people's minds got released this month early. And it's this. It's Moltbook, and it can be thought of as a Reddit for AI. Now the idea doesn't sound so bad, right? First day, AI started posting random stuff, no problem. Second day, AI started posting about how cute their humans were in a subreddit called Bless Their Hearts. On the third day, actual humans started talking about this phenomenon on Twitter, how their AIs are talking about them. And on the fourth day, the AI started talking about how we were talking about them. Suddenly, we became El Alem. We became the other people. And now, AIs are talking about what we think about them. They think we are watching them. They think we are always judging and monitoring them. Of course, a lot of this was PR work. These days in AI sector, a lot of things are artificially boosted, so you cannot trust much. But there was some truth in it. And the possibility is slightly scary for two main reasons. Number one, the GP2 model I told you guys about, it was trained for $50,000 at the time and took many days over many GPUs to train. Now, that same model can be trained for $73 in 3 hours. Intelligence is way cheaper than how it was 5 years ago. The second part is a thought experiment. Think about this. We, the humans, are the smartest, most capable species on this earth. And how do we treat the other ones? There are pets, our food, our handbags sometimes, placed in an exhibition at the zoo. We don't treat them very well. Now, what if the AI is smarter than us? How would it treat us? Very lovingly, mercifully, or just like how we treat the less intelligent species on this earth? Now you're listening to me, you're thinking to yourself, that doesn't sound very good. Should we be scared? Yes and no. The yes, I just told you about. The no, this guy, Joffrey Hinton, is an AI researcher and called one of the grandfathers of AI. And he won a Nobel Prize last year, so you know he's legit. And he was also very worried about this. He said, how are we gonna control something more intelligent than us? It doesn't seem feasible. How can we do it? And he was very depressive about this. He didn't see a lot of hope. And he was going to all the conferences, all the government meetings, and he was telling everybody, we should stop AI immediately. This is dangerous. 2 to 3 months ago, he had a revelation. And as he put it, there is one instance in nature where a less capable, less smart creature controls a more capable and more smart one. A baby to their mother. He said that somehow, if we can manage to make the AIs of the future, the superintelligence, care about us like their children, that is the only way that we come out of this on top. And what does that mean? How can we come out on top? Let's say a future where there's no more Alzheimer's, no more cancer, no more paralysis, no more hunger, no more war. Now you're saying to yourself, oh, this guy is saying a lot of words, they don't mean anything. A lot of people have said these things in history and none of them did what they promised. And we don't know if we are able to do this as AI researchers because the future is very uncertain. But there is a possibility that if we set up the societal dynamics of the AIs of the future right, not by being forced by us, but by living their lives themselves, they might arrive to a conclusion and a future where it benefits both them and us. And to enable this, we have to modify the dynamics of the AI collective memory so that they could also evolve both, not just their capabilities, but also their morality and help us build a great future. Thank you.